Hey, I'm Gabby. I'm a chicken farmer from North Georgia who likes to make videos explaining all of the work that I do on my farm. And today I want to talk about pest control. The first part of this video is going to be the bird's eye view of pest control on my farm. So I'm going to talk about what animals I kill, what are my rules of engagement, and why I'm killing these animals. The second part of this video is going to move from the bird's eye view to more the tactical level. So I'm going to show what tools I use and I'm going to show me using them. The animals I generally have to worry about on a day-to-day basis include squirrels, groundhogs, wild birds, dogs, coyotes, possums, raccoons, but most of all, rats and mice. This list is not exhaustive, but that leads me to my first rule of engagement, which is if it's inside the chicken house and it's not a chicken, then I'm going to shoot it. Later, I'll go into why that rule is actually very important. My second rule of engagement is if it's anywhere near the chicken house and I see that it's trying to make a nest, trying to live inside the chicken house, then again, I'm going to shoot it. And finally, my last rule of engagement is if it's not breaking rules 1 or 2, then I'm not going to engage it, unless it is a dog or coyote. So now, why is it so important that I kill all of these animals? The first big reason is because they can do a lot of damage to the chicken house and the equipment inside. Chicken houses are giant tunnels, and at both ends of these tunnels is a special air conditioning system. Well, parts of the air conditioning system. This system is vital to the chicken house, and if it becomes damaged or less effective or even destroyed, then the effect could be catastrophic for the chickens. And pests can easily do all three of these things. The next big reason for pest control is biosecurity. This is why my first rule of engagement is very important. A lot of these animals, they carry harmful bacteria or other disease-causing agents which can highly affect chickens. Not only do I not want these animals near my hens, but in the event that they've already been in contact with my hens, I don't want these animals going to other chicken farms and possibly carrying agents from my farm to their farm. Now I'm going to cover how we conduct pest control on the farm. First, let me start by saying that the biggest threat to my family's farm are the rodents. So they get most of my attention. Not only can their population grow large, but it is their population that does the most damage. That being said, the main tool we use to control the rodent population is poison. Poison is only used inside the chicken house. But this poison is also a very effective tool in controlling the rodent population. As many rodents as I've killed in my lifetime, probably between 1,000 to 2,000, the poison has far surpassed that number. The second tool I use to control pests are various firearms and air guns. Generally, I use firearms on everything else except for rodents. On rodents, I use air guns. The reason I only use air guns on rodents is because A, rodents aren't hard to kill, so I don't need anything overpowered. B, when I'm shooting rodents, I'm typically indoors. So again, I don't need something overpowered that can possibly damage the chicken house or any of the equipment inside. And C, I don't want to spook the chickens with a loud ass firearm. Air guns are generally pretty quiet. And D, air guns are cost effective. The guns and ammo are pretty cheap while also being strong enough to easily kill rodents. I use many different kinds of guns on the farm, but the one I want to show y'all is my Benjamin Discovery. This is my workhorse. It is a pre-charged pneumatic air rifle that I bought specifically to use to hunt rats inside the chicken house. Let me go back a second. The rodent population in my chicken house is divided into two species. The first one is house mice. I kill house mice with mostly the poison And when we're cleaning out the chicken house, I also use BB guns. Roof rats, however, are far more intelligent and much more difficult to kill. They are generally smart enough to not eat the poison and tough enough to take multiple ball bearings and still walk around. So I got my Benjamin Discovery in 2014 so that I could not only hunt roof rats inside in the middle of the night, but also be able to shoot anything outside because the thing can deliver a lot of energy. If you want to learn more about my Benjamin Discovery, I have a whole video going over the history of my Benjamin Discovery, and there is a link to that in the description. Now, before I go into actual pest control, I'm going to show y'all how I use my Benjamin Discovery on rat hunts. If I'm standing up, I'm going to hold the rifle like a bazooka and scan for targets. If I find the target, I'm then going to get prone and take the shot. You can't accurately shoot this gun standing up or kneeling. You gotta be as stable as possible. The point I'm trying to get across is that I've spent many hours laying in shit, and I am better for it. No, I'm just covered in shit. Now I'm going to show you all the missions I conducted during Operation Rat King. In the spring of 2018, a bunch of starlings moved to the chicken farm and proceeded to build nests inside the chicken house. For at least a month before this clip, I had been engaging them and I had killed 2 starlings before this date. Well, one afternoon, another starling forced its way into the chicken house and had gotten stuck inside. Later that day, during the night, I was conducting a rat hunt when I instead found the starling flying around in the middle of the night. I took the shot and tried to recover the body, but I couldn't find the bird and I gave up. Well, the next day I was picking up eggs and the dead starling came to me on the egg belt. Later that month, another starling forced its way into the chicken house and like the others, it had gotten stuck. For the first 2 starlings in the previous 2 months, I had tried to kill them with my Crossman 2240, but that ended up taking hours because they wouldn't stay still. This time I decided to go straight for my discovery, and I took this 40-yard shot after 15 minutes since I had first seen the starling. In the last 3 months, I had killed 4 starlings that came into the chicken house because of broken roofing and broken walls. I repaired a few of these entrances, and while looking for other possible weak points, I found a nest of starlings. To get to the nest, I had to rip out pieces of the roof, and once I got the wood out of the way, I pulled the entire nest out and counted 6 starling chicks. I killed all of the chicks, repaired the roofing, and I didn't see another starling inside the chicken house for the rest of the operation. About a month later, a family of groundhogs had moved to a hill overlooking the chicken house and built a den around the chicken house's power box. This could be quite dangerous because the den could potentially weaken the ground around the power box and cause the whole system to fall over and maybe even disable the power. This is unacceptable because the chicken house needs constant power, especially during the summertime, to run the air conditioning system for the chickens and for the eggs we collect. One afternoon, I was able to set up my discovery for a shot, but the groundhog went back into its nest before I could take the shot. I waited for about an hour for the groundhog to come out, but it didn't. So I instead decided to dig up the den, and when I found the groundhog, I shot it with my .45. I was not wearing hearing protection, and this ended up being a terrible choice because it ruined my hearing for the next 3 months. Only recently has my hearing gotten better. I sealed up the den, but the groundhogs are still on the farm. They just don't live around the power box anymore. One afternoon, I was working on the farm when my father told me he had seen a rat near one of the egg machines. I immediately went to go find it, and I found it to be very sick. This was the first rat I had seen in 2018, and it appeared to have eaten a deadly amount of poison. I, of course, killed the rat. Poison, unfortunately, doesn't kill quickly. It takes days to kill a rat or mouse, and it is very painful. About a month later, I was about to conduct a late night rat hunt when I instead found a roof rat nest within the first 5 minutes. I found a mature female roof rat and 10 relatively young roof rats. This is the first time I had ever come across a roof rat nest, and I had no idea that they could have so many children. I put all of the babies into a bucket so that y'all could see them, and I put a little bit of water in so they could not jump out. I assume y'all already know what happened next. The next night, I went looking for roof rats. I didn't find any, so I instead started to engage all the mice I could see. A few nights later, I went again to look for rats, and I finally found one. It had been 10 months since I had seen my last roof rat through my night vision scope, and it came at the very end of Operation Rat King. So that's it. That's the end of Operation Rat King. Ironically, I didn't find any rats till the very end. The operation ran from April to September of 2018, and I went on many individual missions, spending lots and lots of hours in the middle of the night here. Didn't find any rats, and all I found were starlings, groundhogs, and house mice. I hope y'all learned a little bit about pest control on my family's chicken farm. Unfortunately, though, you cannot apply what you just learned to other types of chicken farms because A, there are many different types of chicken farms, and B, they all have their own requirements and regulations. On my farm, I can use air guns and poison, but on other farms, they may not be able to. I'm glad I was able to share with y'all a big part of my life. And since I'm only 24, today's my birthday. It has been a big part of my life for most of my life. For better or for worse, I did it for the chickens. Anyways, thanks for watching.